Hey everyone, so for today I just have a quick garden task that I want to take you along with as I do it, which is harvesting and then drying my gomphrena, and I'll show you at least the method that I'm hoping will work to hang it so that it's not only functional but something that looks pretty in my home. And then I thought I would show you a few random animals that we have around the house. So there is a baby pigeon, or at least I think it's a pigeon. It might be a mourning dove. They might be the same thing, they might be different, I don't know. But I've been watching that grow from our bathroom window for a few weeks now, so I thought I would show you what that looks like. It's really cute and adorable. And then we also have a couple foster cats that we are watching for these few weeks, so I thought it would be fun just to kind of throw that in at the end. But first, let's go over to the gomphrena. We'll go ahead and get that harvested. I'll show you how you can tell when it's ready to harvest, and then I will show you how I'm drying it. We're going to harvest mostly from this raised bed right here. I have 4 different varieties of gomphrena in here. I grew one last year, which was just this one, which is carmine. Now I'm also growing QIS orange. This one, red one here, is strawberry fields, and then QIS purple. Now, I don't know if gomphrena in general needs a spokesperson, but I love it so much that I cannot stop talking about how much I love it. I just think they are the absolute cutest flower. They remind me of a flower that would be in like a Dr. Seuss book or something like that. They look like tiny little gumdrops. And what I also love about these flowers is, well, one, not only do they continue to bloom the more you harvest, but when you dry them, they end up holding their shape and most of their color as well. So it's a really great way to have bright colored flowers kind of throughout the year. Last year I made a wreath with the gomphrena I grew. I will link that video down below, and I just can't wait to see what I end up doing this year. Now, when I harvest basically any flower, ooh, look, this one has a little double head right there. Anyway, so the best time to harvest flowers typically is going to be either in the morning or the evening, and it is just after 7 o'clock right now. So, well, 1, I do like to garden in the evening, but 2, it's just too hot in the afternoon to garden anyway. So let's not think that I'm actually responsible as far as always sticking to the correct harvest time. But what I tend to look for in terms of knowing when to harvest is I like to harvest when the flowers are just beginning to get more oblong. So this one is definitely more oval shaped, whereas like this one is still more round. I would leave this one for a little bit. This one is even shorter. And also I like to wait for the stems to be stiff. So if I shake it like that, you can see the whole stem kind of moves as one, whereas with this one, you can see that the stem at the top is just much more flexible than the other one. So that's what I look for. Now, of course, you can harvest at any time that you want for whatever look that you want. But if you want them to go to seed, you just basically continue to let them get more tall and narrow, and then you can save the seeds from those flowers. So I will probably plan to do that with some of these. But another good reason to harvest, like I said, is that the more you cut, the more will grow. Something I wanted to point out with these varieties. So the orange, the pink, and the purple are all QIS. I don't know what that exactly means, but that is the variety, and they're different colors. But this purple one is definitely more compact than the other varieties. The leaves are very different, so you can see that these are thicker. They also feel much softer, which I know you can't see that, but there are tiny little hairs on these leaves compared to the leaves on basically all of the other gomphrena, which are very long and narrow. So that had me wondering, is this actually QIS purple? If this is QIS orange, maybe. I've never grown it before. But another difference too is that these have white in the middle, whereas, I mean, I guess there's a tiny little tip of white on these, but nowhere near as much as this. So anyway, just some things that I've noticed so far in the differences between the gomphrena varieties that I'm growing. So now I'll go ahead and I'm just going to harvest some of these, probably not a ton yet, but at least a good few handfuls, and then I'll show you how I'm drying them. So I have my pruners here, and when I go to harvest, I basically just come down from the flower down to the first set of leaves. Now you can go longer if you need a longer stem, but if I snip right here, you can see the start of another branch that'll start to grow out that way. So that's going to cause more bushiness on the plants. So we'll just go ahead and snip, and I will pick that up out of the blueberry bush. This is what I went ahead and harvested from the raised bed. I obviously still want to leave a lot of flowers in the bed because I want the bed to look pretty and colorful. But I think this is a good handful. I am going to grab some of the QAS pink from a pot that I have on the other side of the deck as well. And this is how much is still left in the bed. I forgot if I mentioned this, but there are some random petunias growing in here. I had this exact same petunia in each of the corners here last year. It wasn't a super petunia, so not my favorite, which is why I didn't plant it again, but it apparently replanted itself. So I'm leaving it in there because it just makes me happy. This is QAS pink, and it's a very, very, very pale pink, almost white. Now this one has the same structure as the purple. So maybe they are both QIS and they just have different structures than the orange and the carmine. So these I'm going to harvest a couple off of as well. It also seems like these don't get as tall as the carmine, the strawberry fields, and the orange one. These, at least so far, seem to be staying a bit more round and compact, but you can see here like the stem on these is still stiff, so I know that these are ready to harvest. Okay, so here's my final haul. Now what I'm going to do is remove all of the leaves on the plant. Now you might think, you know what, I don't want to spend the time to do that, but trust me, it's a lot easier right now, I feel like, than when it's dry. At least for me, I tend to damage it less if I do it now. They seem to be a bit more fragile when they're dry, and I definitely broke some that I had dried last year with the leaves on when I tried to remove the leaves. So I'll do that, and then we will go ahead and bring these inside. All of the flowers have been de-leaved, and anytime you work with gomphrena, you will likely see a trail of petals left behind. Now, more petals fall off the longer they are, so the older the blooms are, so if you want fewer petals falling off, get them when they're a bit tighter, but I'll show you what I'm doing this year with any rogue petals. So any petals that are pretty and I don't have another use for, I'm starting to collect them just in a jar right here. So the gomphrena ones are on the top now. I think the other ones were from maybe store bouquets of flowers. I've had these for a while, but my plan is to just use this like confetti. So I'm gonna have some friends over for a garden party next month. I'll kind of sprinkle this over the table and then just collect them at the end, and I can reuse them. Or if I give someone like a gift bag and I want to put some in this just to make it a bit more special, I'm gonna do that as well. So I'm really excited to have a purpose now for the flower petals instead of just composting like I'm doing with the leaves. So really excited about this. We are inside now, and I'm going to show you where I plan to dry these flowers, assuming it works. So like I mentioned, I'm a person that likes something to be functional but also really pretty, and I've tried to make something that will allow me to hang my flowers from but also kind of look like part of home decor. It's not at all difficult. It's very, very simple actually, but I'm hoping that what I've created will actually hold the flowers and not fall apart. So let me show you what I did. Okay, so here's what I've done. I took some old hydrangea branches and I cut them, and they're hanging up in this corner of the room right here. So couch over there, chairs over there, and this corner is where I'm going to hang the flowers. So I am very bad at making permanent decisions. So right now this is just hung up there. I'll get up there in a second and show you, but it's just held up by command hooks, which is the part that I'm wondering, is this actually going to stay as I try to hang some gomphrena from it? But I guess we're about to find out. I am on a chair and much closer, so you can kind of see what I did here. And I mean, it feels more secure than I expected. So this branch ends here, another one starts over there, goes to the corner, one branch here, another branch going over there. So I'm going to bundle up some of the gomphrena and we will see what happens. So here's what we're looking like so far. And I mean, everything is still upright, so that's great. I have the 2 bunches here that I just harvested, and then one that I was drying just in a different location before I had this set up. And yeah, I mean, if this goes according to plan, I think I'm gonna be really excited. Let me hop down off the chair and show you it from afar. So here's kind of what it looks like now. And yeah, I think once this is like filled with a bunch of flowers drying, it'll just be a really pretty addition to this corner. Let's go down now and I will show you both the baby pigeon, or let me know if it is a dove or a mourning dove, or if there is a difference between any of those animals. And then I will show you the foster cats as well. So these are the foster kitties. This right here is Ella. And this one right here is Rue. Oh, hello. And they've been here for just about a week, and we'll have them for a couple weeks more. Now, the mama here, she had issues during surgery, and they said she lost her sight, but it might be coming back. So that is exciting. I think she's about a year old. I don't know if you can hear it, but she basically purrs all the time. Good girl. And then Rue is the typical kitten, running everywhere all the time, always wanting to play. So we fostered, I think this is our 3rd time fostering cats. We have 2 of our own, and it is hard to give them back at the end, but I tell myself, well, one of our cats would move out if we let any more cats into this household permanently. But I also tell myself, you know, that they're going to a loving home, and these 2 will be going together. So they are a bonded pair as mother and daughter. So it is kind of sad, but I know that we're just helping them in the long run. So that's gonna be everything for today. I know it was kind of a random mix of things, but I hope that you found it enjoyable. I will continue to hang flowers onto my little hanging rack. I guess I haven't really decided what I'm gonna call it, and we'll see how many it continues to hold. Fingers crossed everything does continue to go to plan. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye. It's a few days later, and I've added some more flowers, so I just wanted to show kind of what this is starting to look like with more than just 3 bunches on it. But so far, still hanging in there, and I think this is gonna look really nice.